Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for an episode of Spoiler Alert. Yes, I know it was supposed to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, the Sunday edition of it, but quite honestly, there just wasn't enough news out there. I think I had like four items, and that was like digging into the bottom of the barrel. I mean, there's stuff out there like rumors and bullshit, but it wasn't worth it. So that's why we're doing spoiler alert this morning. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, all those nasty, nasty videos that you've been looking at, and they try and match it as best as possible to one of the nasty, nasty videos that I have. Because I have almost 1,000 of them at this point, and they pop it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified when I come on live next, hit that bell down below, and YouTube won't notify you when I come on live. But if you do want to know, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. So it looks like it's just gonna be me for a little while here because I'm fairly sure no notifications went out because thanks, YouTube, you motherfuckers. Um, yeah, I know how it is. They never send any notifications anymore for me. Apple Crow will show up like about 30 minutes in if I'm there still, and then he'll just have just gotten the notification. But while we're here, I might as well some of the stuff that I did mine out of there. Some of the weird stuff anyway. Paramount Plus is going to be rebooting the Fairly Odd Parents, the cartoon, but there's a little twist to it this time. So what they're going to do is they're going to still going to be animated, but there's also going to be live action as well. So the live action is going to be the main portion of it, and the animation, or basically the two fairies. I've never watched the show because I was way too old for it by the time that thing came out. And it plays like a really bad sitcom with Gazoo, only two Gazoos, if you watch the Flintstones, giving them any kind of wish fulfillment. It's really bad. It plays like a live action version of the Flintstones set in the Small Wonder House with Gazoo. It's a mishmash of shit, but it's all on Paramount Plus on March 31st for those of you who are interested in it and want to watch that. I guess they're releasing all 13 episodes at once because even they know it's a piece of shit. So that's what they're doing with that. So, excuse me. There you go on that one. Fred Heckinger, who I've never heard of before in my life, is going to play the chameleon in Sony's Craven the Hunter. That's the Spider-Man villain, Sony the Hunter, Craven the Hunter. Yeah, so that's Sony, of course, is going to be pulling out everything else. CBM says, to be fair, most sitcoms for children are awful. They still use laugh tracks. I'm surprised this one doesn't have a laugh track. CBM. I watched the trailer for it because I was just like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is this?" After I watched it, so it was fairly horrible. Um, so there's two different competing rumors now going on with this Craven the Hunter. So they did hire Russell Crowe, of course, be Craven's dad, who is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, the guy who played Kick-Ass, who's huge now. So huge being big, like muscular, all that kind of shit. Uh, so there was rumors that Russell Crowe was going to be playing the chameleon. Now they've hired this guy, Fred Heckinger, who is supposedly supposed to be the chameleon, which makes more sense because chameleon's supposed to be, you know, slimmer. Yeah, shall we say younger and, more agile. Actually, kind of a, secret agent kind of type. Whereas I can't see Russell Crowe running around doing stuff too much anymore. No offense to Russell Crowe, man. We all age. I just can't see you doing that kind of action thing at the moment, at this point in your life. So, Especially if they're going to do a series of this, if they're gonna make this into a franchise and the community's gonna be coming back more and more, I don't think that's gonna happen with, Russell Crowe, quite honestly. So, some good news here. Netflix has canceled Another Life after 2 seasons. Why it took them 2 seasons to cancel it, I have no idea. That's the Katie Sackhoff series that's on Netflix, which was just horribly bad. I don't think I could I couldn't get past the first episode. The first episode was so fucking bad, that I couldn't get through. I mean, I've literally obliterated it from my mind. Other than that, I know that I couldn't get past the first episode. I did, and Is It Worth My Time? I believe about this. I want to say I did one. And yeah, it was god awful. I mean, the acting was bad, special effects were bad. I remember everything just being horribly, horribly bad. Even the writing was horrible too. So, oh yeah, that was bad. Anyway, it's been canceled, thankfully. Now they can stop making Tall Girl and Kissing Booth movies. Yeah, I've seen that being advertised on Netflix CPM, and I have no desire ever to click on those. So I don't know. Yeah, I just finished Vikings Valhalla, which of course just came out Friday. And it's good actually. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Uh, I was more interested in Frida's arc than I was in Leif Erikson's arc, quite honestly. And it strangely enough, it syncs up with oh fuck, what is the other one that happens at the same time frame? It's a fictional account of a Viking, a Dane, if you will, living in England, and he becomes the protector of the English, and he gets screwed over in all multiple seasons. And God, I can't remember the name of it now. I have to take a look back and see what it was. But it ties in nicely with that because it's the exact same time frame, but this one actually deals more with the historical characters than making up their own characters. And then, of course, making up shit that happens with these historical characters. So you have King Canute, uh, which they spell it Canute, where it's actually what I saw in the history books, it's spelled CNUT. CNUT. I had to make sure I spelled that right because if you transpose some of those words, it comes out a different word. Um, but it's spelled it's pronounced Canute. Canute. Yeah. And he ended up becoming the ruler of England, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, I want to say. So he basically had an entire northern empire that he ended up controlling, which I found interesting. It was one of those things that we as Americans don't learn because, who the fuck are we? We don't even learn about our own history, quite honestly. So, yeah, so I found that kind of interesting that was taking place, and that Leif Erikson was involved in that. This is his early years when he first leaves Greenland. Um, and I didn't realize that his father was Eric the Red. I knew it, but then I forgot it. And I didn't know that Eric the Red had actually been chased out of Norway, out of those regions, because he had murdered. Basically, he went on pillaging sprees. He was a berserker and started killing just for the fun of it, for the most part. Also, pillaging his own people rather than just pillaging the English. So that's why he got banished to Greenland. And he had a group of people that supposedly followed him, which I'm sure they were banished as well. They haven't gotten into that part of it yet because it's only season one. But it's fairly interesting. I mean, I liked it. You have the whole clash between Christianity and pagans going on too, because that's at the time that Christianity was taking hold in the Viking kingdoms, and you still had the pagans that were really huge, and then you had the Christianity thing that's kind of growing as well, and yeah, that's where you have the whole Crusades. Well, the whole Crusade stuff comes a little bit later, but still, it ties into all of this, all the religious wars, if you will. So that's why I found that interesting. But So what else did I have over here that I was finding that I found interesting? Oh yeah, there's only one other thing that I had, which I thought was pretty fucking funny. So last week I was talking about how Star Trek 4 from the Kelvinverse is getting made. Well, it turns out that the entire cast from the Kelvinverse Star Trek were surprised to learn that there was going to be another movie that they were starring in because, surprise, they don't have any contracts signed. So Chris Pine is in talks, the initial talks to sign a contract, but none of them have. Zoe Saldana hasn't signed anything. Carl Urban, Simon Pegg, all those people, no one has signed a contract as of yet to be in Star Trek 4. So they were actually all surprised to learn that they were going to be starring in it and that it was going to be releasing next year. They were going to start filming supposedly at the end of this year and it was going to release at the end of next year. So yeah, they were all kind of surprised by that, which I thought was pretty fucking funny and ballsy of Paramount to just to kind of go, "Yep, we're making one, and they're all starring in it. It's coming out next year." I would say, "Cool." I want, if I was one of those actors, I'd say, "Cool. I want $40 million for my role. You've already announced it, and it's just for one movie. I want $40 million. Might as well." And that's all I got for you guys on the way of that news. Like I said, it was a very short, slow news week, and there's other shit out there like rumblings, I should say, of Emperor Palpatine might show up in Obi-Wan. So of course the guy who played him, Ian, fuck, I can't remember his name now. Um, he's talking about it could happen. You never know. Darth Vader's showing up because we already know Darth Vader is showing up. So you know, most likely the Emperor can't be far behind either. So yeah, things of that nature. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's great, fine, whatever. So I think so what is it? I'm doing Free Guy on Tuesday, so I'm not going to be talking about that. It's going to be either Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know at the moment. I know Tuesday is also going to be the State of the Union address from Biden, so that's the time I normally do stuff. So I don't know how many people are going to actually be watching this or that or whatever. I might still just do it at the regular time. Um, Also, Wednesday is the release of the Batman, and I might go see the Batman in the theater just to kind of get it out of the way, so I don't have any of the spoilers going on. But I did see The King's Man, which is now on HBO Max and also on Hulu. Is that right? It was on HBO Max. Yes, it was on HBO Max. That's where it was. Which I thought was kind of weird that it was on HBO Max and on Hulu because I thought it was Disney Plus but anyway, I watched it. Meh. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater. I'm glad I didn't waste money, time, or safety in order to go and see it in the theater. It was almost 2.5 hours long, and there was a lot that could have been cut from it. And it just seemed weird in spots. I don't know. The pacing of it was weird. The story was a little awkward. And then also, I thought the Kingsmen were actually older than World War One. I thought they were actually around since like the 1700s. Hence the reason why the Statesmen, which are the U.S. counterpart, which we saw in Kingsman 2, Golden Circle, was supposedly set up in the 1800s. That's what I thought that was all about. But anyway, um, yeah, it just wasn't great. Um, I want Gemma Atherton to have a better role than what she's been getting. I don't know. She just seemed this seemed kind of like a weird role for her, and just didn't do her any justice as an actress. Same thing with Damon Hanshu. I always murder his name. Um, he lately he's been ended up playing just kind of like servants, which is really problematic. Quite honestly, I want him to get a role that is leading man role because he does have that in him, and I want to see him thrive, man. He's actually a good actor, and this kind of role was just kind of beneath him, I thought. But maybe that's just me. Ralph Fiennes, on the other hand, he's made some really bad movies, he made some really good movies, and he's made everything else in between. So I thought I was watching the precursor to James Bond for a little while there at some point. I was like, oh yeah, that's M. Oh wait, no, wrong franchise. Wrong franchise on that one. Yeah, the whole thing with the death of his son in World War One, which uh, eh, meh. It, yeah, it was very heavy-handed and just it took too fucking long to get there, quite honestly. It really did. It took way too fucking long. I mean, way too fucking long. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of this trip that I had or this walk that I had where I went around the entire lake when actually the place that I was getting to was right there, which was the other way of going to it. Basically, if I had gone right instead of left, I made a left turn at Albuquerque is what was going on, and that wasn't the right turn. It should have been a right turn, and I would have been right there, but instead went all the way around the lake, and yeah. I agree with you, CBM. With only 3 movies, they should have a better handle on the mythology, but they didn't on this one. This one was pretty bad. I wouldn't say bad, it was just boring is what it was. It was just boring more than anything else. There wasn't a lot to it. Oh, and I finished, All of Us Are Dead, the Korean, zombie in high school Netflix series, which, I know some of us were talking about it here in the chat, I think during last week's, Saturday Morning Blast Off, and, oh my god, I mean, the teen angst happening while zombies are attacking, and it's just like, literally, they just finished fighting off a horde of zombies, and then like, "Do you like me? I don't know. Do you like me? I don't know. Do you like me? Do you like? I don't know. Do you like me?" They're hiding out on a fucking ledge from zombies, trying to stay quiet, and then having a conversation about whether or not they like each other. Uh, yeah. Then it all ends with some of these kids that have been bitten have turned into like superheroes, if you will, where they can kind of control that they don't become full on zombies, but they're not human either, and they seem to have superpowers now where they can jump off roofs and land. And yeah, so you see where it's going with that. I'm like, that's literally what I did. I just sighed when I was at the end of it. Just a gigantic sigh because it wasn't worth it. Um, trying to think if there's anything else that I've been watching. I mean, I really haven't. I've been kind of, trying to take it a little easy and stuff like that. And I've been working my way through the Thrawn books, that Timothy Zahn had done, the Thrawn trilogy. So I got through the first book already, Thrawn. I'm in the second book. I can't remember what it's called now. Ascendancy? Ascendancy. There we go. And then, so what started all of this was a couple of years ago at Comic Con. Timothy Zahn was going to be there with Thrawn Treason. That was when Treason was coming out, and he was going to sign the books, and you can get an audiobook and all that kind of good stuff. So I actually have the book, I have the audiobook, and the audiobook comes on a nice little, widget, that USB drive. There we go. And I realized that was the third in a trilogy. I didn't realize that he had 2 more before that, so I couldn't, of course, read it as of yet. I had to go through and read the first 2, and it's taken me this long to get to it. I know. I know. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on that. I'm almost done with the second book and working my way into, getting to the third book. We'll see where it happens from there. Of course, this is all leading up to Ahsoka. I'm A lot of stuff I'm already seeing um, in the books have already been translated into the Disney Plus series. Even with the small amount of presence that Ahsoka has had, and Thrawn, a lot of the stuff has actually already been made its way into the animated series or taken from the animated series. So it's interesting to see how Zahn has incorporated that stuff, and then also how Filoni has incorporated that stuff into the series as well. And I'm sure, Favreau is going to start incorporating a lot of that stuff as well. So yes, all this stuff ties together in the grand scheme of things, if you will, and just kind of adds to it. Do you need to read everything and absorb everything that comes out from there? No, you don't need to. Well, I should say, with a caveat, the Rebels series, probably you should probably watch the last 2 seasons of Rebels in order to, kinda get caught up on where Thrawn, Ezra, and Ahsoka are, because that all ties in to the new Ahsoka series that's gonna be coming out, the live action series. Other than that, you don't need to read the books, you don't need to see The Mandalorian, for the little portions that, Ahsoka is in, or the Book of Boba Fett, that, the 2 episodes that Ahsoka is in. Um Yeah, you don't need that, quite honestly, in order to follow what's gonna happen in the Ahsoka series. It does it help? A little bit, it kinda adds to some of the story, but you don't really need it. Just like you don't need to read the Ahsoka book that's out, that explains what happened to her right after, Order 66 was given, and, how she was on the run and all this stuff, and how she got her white lightsabers. So, spoiler alert on that one, she actually ends up, taking them from an Inquisitor, and they're red lightsabers, and, so in order to get a red kyber crystal, what the Sith do, or the dark side do, is they instill that kyber crystal with a bunch of hate. So that's how they get red cyber crystals. Kyber crystals do not exist in the universe, the Star Wars universe, naturally. You have to use dark force energy in order to imbue them with hate and fear and turn them into red kyber crystals, which then, of course, usually what they end up doing is, well, the Sith ends up taking it from whatever Jedi that they fought, or yeah, and then they take their weapon after they've killed the Jedi and infuse it with hate, turns into a red crystal, and they use it in their blade. So what Ahsoka has done, since Ahsoka was not a Jedi anymore, she had renounced the Order. She was not a Sith either. So when she defeated the Inquisitor, she ended up basically taking his red blades that he had, because Inquisitors have this weird round hilt that has two blades that come off of it. They can use it as like a little helicopter kind of thing, whatever. So she ended up taking those two crystals and imbuing them back in with light energy, or light force, if you will, and getting rid of the red and turning them white, which, of course, again, do not exist in in the natural universe of Star Wars. So she actually created those white kyber crystals herself, and I have them back here too. I've got some kyber crystals right up here. So, from Disneyland. And actually, my blade right now, actually, I believe, has the it's either the yellow kyber crystal in there or the white kyber crystal. I can't remember which one it is. Yes, I did go to Savvy's workshop at Disneyland and build myself a lightsaber. Yeah. And of course, the dark saber here, you can't change out the crystal, so it's whatever crystal's in there is in there. So there you go. And that's the blade, by the way, for the dark saber, laying right there. So, CBM, what are you watching? You out there? I know you're lurking. Are you watching anything out there? I'm trying to think of what I'm excited for coming out. I know what I was excited for. So Renfeld, which Nicholas Holt, Nicolas Cage, and there's a whole bunch of other actors and actresses that are going to be in there. They are it's a take on Dracula with Nicholas Holt being Dracula and I believe Nicolas Cage being Renfeld. Has been pushed to April 14th, 2023. And I was actually looking forward to that. I thought it was coming out this year, but it's not. CBM says, I mean, who wouldn't build themselves a lifesaver? Well, people with, you know, it's expensive. It's like 200 bucks. Yeah. I mean, I did it because it was, one of those, it was a birthday trip. Um, I figured, I was gonna do it. I didn't have a lightsaber, so yeah, you know. CBM says need to catch up on Resident Alien, but haven't really watched anything new. I did watch Wolf Like Me last week. Oh, was that the is it actually about werewolves or is it just serial killers or what is Wolf Like Me? I mean, we're in a spoiler alert uh, setting, so you can say anything you want. I think it's on is that on Apple Plus or is that Paramount Plus or is that something else? Is that Hulu? I can never remember which one it's on. And also, I just really don't like Josh Gad. I really, really, really don't like Josh Gad. Don't know what it is. Just don't really like him. He's like punchably annoying for some reason. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I have to turn him off the screen when I see him because I physically want to punch the screen for some reason. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's about werewolves and it's on Amazon Prime. Okay. Yeah. It's probably on Amazon Prime here then too. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of Josh Gad. He's pretty lame in everything he's in, quite honestly, CBM. He is yeah, he's a horrible actor, that's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Speaking of horrible actors, Scott Eastwood. Scott Eastwood's been in the news quite a bit lately, and, there's this article that keeps floating around my news feed about him, getting advice from his dad not to star in Suicide Squad 2 or actually James Gunn's Suicide Squad because it'd be a bad career move or whatever it was. But yet, doesn't say anything about his dad telling him not to show up in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, right? Because that was a perfect career move. Mm. Um, I'm just gonna go out and, I'm gonna say this here. Scott Eastwood's a horrible actor, and the only reason why we know about him is because of his last name. That's the only reason why we know anything about him. Otherwise, if he did not have a famous father and nepotism, I'm fairly sure we would never have seen the light of day. He would never get beyond commercials. I don't even think he'd get commercials to tell you the truth. For like VD commercials or something like that, or you know, yeah, I don't think we get anything past that. So, CBM says it has a mood similar in a way to "I Am Not Okay with This." Okay, well, "I Am Not Okay with This" was actually a decent show, and I'm glad they're getting a second season on it. So yeah, yeah, he just I don't like him, Josh Gad. And again, same thing with Scott Eastwood. I mean, ugh. Give people who actually know how to act a chance, not these nepotism fucks who, yeah. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. Yeah, that's what I'd heard last. I think I reported that on a while back. Is that I'm not okay with this? Is getting a second season. Actually, let's go take a look. I am not okay with this season two. Da, da. Oh, I take that back. Uh, it looks like it was canceled. I guess they quietly canceled this. I don't know. I'm getting back and forth things on this right now. I thought I had heard that it was getting a season two, but no, it actually it got canceled because of COVID, is what they're saying. There you go. Yeah, the showrunner said that it got canceled. Because I thought I'd heard it was getting a second season, and it was supposed to get a second season, but because of COVID and cost overruns and things like that, they canceled it. That's what it was. It was supposed to get a second season, and it didn't. Um, there you go. Yeah, yeah. I'm disappointed about it too because it was a good series. It wasn't bad. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Um, anything else I'm looking forward to that's coming out? Well, like I said, I'm gonna go see the Batman. The Batman. You got to say it that way, the Batman, because that's what it seems to be. And people are kind of comparing it to the Dark Knight, um, which is interesting. All the early reviews. I haven't read any of the reviews just because I don't want to. I don't want to see it. I'm not looking forward to Picard season two, which comes out on March 3rd, which is Thursday. Yeah. I am looking forward to The Boys Diabolical, which comes out on March 4th. Really, it comes out on March 3rd. It comes out at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on March 3rd. So I'm looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the Orville New Horizons, which is March 10th. Yeah. Upload season two, which is March 11th. That's going to be some interesting stuff, of course. Moon Knight, March 30th. Of course, I'm going to be covering that when that comes out. And of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi when it comes out on May 25th. So, yeah. And of course, Doctor Strange 2, May 6th. So, there you go. There's some stuff coming out. I'm sure there's going to be some other things that pop up here and there. I am looking forward to as well. I'm glad that I keep touting this. I can't push it enough. If you have Hulu, watch The Great. That's the show about Catherine the Great. It's it's really bastardized timeline wise and all that stuff. But Nicholas Holt is in it, and one of the other Olsons. Fuck, I can't remember her name now. Um, but she is awesome in it. And the supporting cast is just fucking phenomenal in it. It's funny. It's got 2 seasons up, and they got renewed for a 3rd season. And eh, just the politics alone about Catherine the Great coming into power and how it kind of mirrors, of course, the whole thing about we never Elle Fanning. There we go. Elle Fanning is who plays her. Yes. Yeah. So I can't recommend The Great enough. It's funny. It's and I'm talking about like laugh out loud funny. I'm hard to make laugh, quite honestly, and I'm laughing throughout every episode. And I'm not talking like, huh, which normally for some stuff, like, huh, but no, this one I was laughing the fuck out loud because just it's absurd. But it's funny and it's shocking at the same time. And there's nudity involved too and violence. So you have everything all you need right in one show. Yeah, I'm gonna see Doctor Strange in theaters. So I actually found a theater that was decent enough where even the normal seats are separated enough because they got these big cushy recliner seats, but there are separations in between everybody. They deliver food and all that stuff into the theater. Um, so I'm gonna go and see it there. Is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. It's much easier to do it that way than the theater that's near me within walking distance here with the hoi polloi of I hate to say it. I mean, I know it sounds elitist of me and everything like that, but there are some motherfuckers out there that, pull out their fucking cell phones in the middle of theaters, try and take pictures of the fucking screen with a flash during a movie, talk during a movie like they're in their own fucking living room, and I mean, just all kinds of shit. It's like, where were you raised, in a fucking barn with all the other animals? Probably were. I mean, uh, yeah. Anyway, so that's why I'm going to go and see it in the theater, along with the Batman. The Batman. The Batman. Yeah. What else do I have? That's pretty much all I got for you guys. So I think I'm going to wrap things up from here. What else do I have the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Tuesday is gonna be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And it's going to be Free Guy. Yes, I know it came out in theaters and everything, but it just hit what is it? Disney Plus, HBO Max. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus and HBO Max. So if you have either one of those two, you have access to Free Guy. And they're both in 4K, by the way. So I'm gonna be covering that. Wednesday I'll be off. Thursday will be Resident Alien. I'll be covering the latest episode of Resident Alien. Friday I'll be off. Saturday I'll be off, of course, and Sunday will be the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off. I'm trying to think. Am I going to do the Boys Diabolical? So it depends on if the Boys Diabolical is released weekly or if it's dropped all at once, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to cover that one. Okay. So once I figure out how they're doing it, and then also if it's just better just to do it all as a season, or if it's going to be better doing it episode by episode. I know the episodes are going to be different. It's an anthology series, of course, based in the Boys universe. So we'll see how this all plays out. I'll once Thursday rolls around, I'll know better as to what's going to happen with that series and how I'm going to cover it. Because yes, I am going to cover. It's animated and it's the Boys. Fuck yeah, I'm going to cover it. So why not? So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the day. Thank you to CBM for joining me in the chat. And thank you out there if you watch the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. If you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. And also a special shout out to Movie Fanobi, who at the very beginning of all of this did a super chat of $20 there. So, and just to verbally say it, I have not watched the Scream series and latest Scream movie that came out. I haven't watched a Scream movie since Scream 3, just because it's played out, and I'm really not interested in it for some reason. It just I don't know. Without Wes Craven, without Kevin Williamson, all that stuff. Well, even with Kevin Williamson, it's been boring. So I mean, I think without Wes Craven, that's what happened. It just becomes like this endless Jason kind of, Friday the 13th series thing. Jason underwater, Jason in space, Jason in the microverse. It's kind of boring at that point. All right, everybody. Thank you. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe. No, until then, actually, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just screw up the end tagline of your videos because, yeah, it just happens. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well, and get the booster while you're at it, too. And I will see you again on Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Thanks, CBM. I will see you later and have a good day yourself. Have a good rest of the weekend and have fun out there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.